Hi everyone, we are here in Quartzite and I'm here with my new friend Ben. He's from Georgia and he has this really nice setup in his 2016 Dodge Grand Caravan. It's a simple build, but he has some really good ideas that I haven't seen anywhere else before, and I'm excited to show them to you, so let's turn it over to Ben.
This is a sort of standard layout. I've got my bed here. This is a memory foam mattress, you know, and all that stuff, and lots of warm blankets. And I kept this is a 60-40 third row, and I kept the 40 part, the smaller seat. And all the rest of the inside back seats are gone, so I have plenty of room. What that means in a Dodge is only the Dodge, not the Honda and the Toyota, is that there's all this extra room here for storing stuff. I just have butane and paper towels and things like that in there, all junk, you know, basically. But it's great having that extra space. That's one advantage the Dodge has. And the other way I got some freedom around space is I built a bed that doesn't have any legs except just up here in the very front. And so I did it by getting some steel. I bought this at Lowe's Hardware. Although now I found out where to get scrap steel. This stuff costs $22 a piece on either, so 44 for the two, I think it was. Anyway, I think I could get it for 15 for both now. The slats are a kid's bed from IKEA, and they only cost $10. And so I drilled a hole and used tie wraps to hold them to the steel. So there's no legs under here because the steel's strong, right? If I used a wood, I'd have to use a 2x4, and that would eat up a lot of my ability to slide tubs underneath. So that's how the bed is configured, and of course there's no mold or any of that stuff because there's lots of ventilation up to the bottom of the bed. And then in the back, I wanted to keep my storage here where the third row seat folded down, and I didn't want bed legs, so I have suspended the this 2x4. It's hanging by rope from the seat belt mounts, and there's a hole drilled in it, you can see, and a knot keeps it from falling down. And so I don't have to worry about legs in the back of the bed either. So if I get a folding bike or something like that, I'll be able to fit it in here without bumping into support structures for the bed. So that's the fun part of the build that's a little different. Most people need legs, and you know, that's a little less flexible than no legs in terms of how you store things. So then back here I have water and these mosquito nets for the windows, a chair, and so on, but lots of room back here, and I could, I guess, even pile it up if I had that much stuff. So these cords are useful. I can hang things on them to dry, washcloth or whatever, and these hooks are great. I like my little lantern, and before I had a different lantern, and I had to turn it 90 degrees, I think is right, so I can just put one of these Velcro loops on things, and then it turns it from north-south to an east-west hanging point. This is actually sort of the fuse box for my cheap backup camera because it's not wireless. So it comes to here, and then the monitor's there, and the power comes from the cigarette lighter behind here, and one set of wires goes back to the camera and one set goes up to the monitor. It's strictly speaking not a backup camera, it's just always on. If I have a push button switch on the sun visor, and so if I want, I use it instead of a rear view mirror or something, I could, you know. And I had to mount the camera high because the bike rack's always going to be there, and most of these license plate oriented backup cameras put the camera right in the middle, and so that wouldn't see anything but the up tube from the bike rack. The monitor comes through these wires that tuck behind various pieces of the bodywork to here. And you know, I put all that in there temporarily, and temporary became permanent. Obviously there's a lot of wire I could get rid of and so on, but that's my backup camera if I need it. For mosquito nets, I have this standard magnets inside of duct tape on either side of porch screening from Home Depot or something like someplace like that, and so they can just easily go on and off. I was just aware that if I wanted to put the Velcro tabs on the inside of the windows, then I could put my screens up when I'm in some area that's really infested. Because I went to North Dakota, and before I could even put these on, about 300 mosquitoes had gone into the van, you know. So I just ended up leaving after a while. There was so many mosquitoes. Whereas this, you need to put them up like during the day before the mosquitoes come out or whatever, so that then you can roll down your windows and get ventilation. But that's my mosquito screens, standard stuff. All this is ideas from YouTube, right? Thank you, YouTube, for showing me all these things. Then I have various bins, some of them open, some of them boxes, some of them with lids, but there's, I think, 12 inches almost here, so there's room for different things sliding in. Of course, I have a tool bag and all kinds of winter clothes and so on. I brought more cold weather clothes than I need, I suppose. I have the passenger seat footwell filled with coats and things. So I'm not going to freeze out here where it's already t-shirt weather. Standard Reflectix, I guess I'll grab one just for demos, but standard Reflectix blackout for the windows. Just jams in, of course, and it does a little bit of insulation. But when I wake up in the morning, the thermometer I have inside and the reading of the outside are identical every time. So insulation is basically zero, but very good for privacy, of course. Back in the back, I have a bike rack that I got from Craigslist, and it's nice because it gets the bicycle out of the way entirely, and so it folds up when I drive. And the other thing about it is that since my bike isn't mounted on the roof or anything, I don't have any aerodynamic obstructions, so it's sort of like that when I'm driving. There's very little, some extra wind resistance from the handlebars, but I get 30 miles to the gallon on the highway. Maybe 25 around town, something like that. So I've been really impressed by the fuel economy. I figure 8 to 10 cents a mile when I'm planning a long trip is what my fuel cost is going to be. I don't have anything on the roof either, and that's good for a few miles to the gallon, a couple anyway, I'm sure. I have a little camping lanterns. I cook on a propane stove that I frequently set right down here on the floor mat, and it's only a one burner, of course, but that's all I need. I make single pot meals as a rule. Typically, I'll boil some rice and then add some soupish thing, some lentils or something, and some broccoli if I have it. I also like sardines. I've got a few large, what are this? Is this a 6-pack of sardines? Because they keep well and I like them, so I have a way to get meat. And when you add these to a dish, it actually isn't bad, right? But usually my meals don't have much oil in them, and so then I've got the pot and the spoon I stirred it with, and that's it for dishes. You know, no plates, no nothing. And of course it keeps trash down because I'm not using paper plates or anything like that. This white material on the outside of the van is kind of nice. It's called perforated vinyl. I bought a roll on Amazon for something like $50, maybe it's a touch more. And I started off on these side windows practicing. You peel it off its backing and it sticks on, and then you cut it with a single edge razor blade or something really sharp. And it does a really good job. From the sunny side, people can't look in, but you can look out just fine. And it also probably cuts down on the heat gain. You know, it's a 50% coverage material. So that's nice stuff. I have learned how to take this spoiler off, so if I ever redo the perforated vinyl on the back, it'll be a lot better. I didn't even know how to take that spoiler off when I put all the wrinkles in there. But hey, that's what makes it bespoke. For ventilation, I lower the passenger and driver's side windows half an inch or some small bit. And that's all I need for me. But if I'm trying to oxygenate a cooking stove, I don't want to die, right? So I open always the vent windows in the back, and sometimes I'll even just open the sliding door. it sort of holds open, 6 inches open, and when I'm cooking I do that just to be sure I'm safe. I have a little Suaoki power supply brick battery gizmo, the 150 watt hours, and I plug in a USB fan to that. And I think my limit without a fan might be about 80 degrees, high 70s, but I can probably be reasonably comfortable sleeping at, say, 85 with that fan going. It's quite nice, and the Suaoki can power it just fine all night. And since my power demands are so low, I haven't gotten into solar. That helps my fuel economy, not having something on the roof, but on the other hand, if I had solar, I'd be able to cook with it, and that's what I would like to do. That's my use case. You know, just get rid of the burning flames in the vehicle. And the way I am, you know, I spill stuff. I don't, you know, it's like probably better for me not to play with fire. So I don't know if that'll be enough to get me to put solar on the roof or not. We'll see. This is an Oral-B toothbrush, and it's rechargeable. And instead of the factory charger, I have this little inexpensive. I think this was $3 on Alibaba. You can probably buy one on Amazon for twice that. And it's got a USB power supply. And so I just travel with it in this cup holder in my front, and then I use this sock to keep it upright because it just really wants to fall over otherwise. And so that's how I am able to charge my toothbrush in a moving vehicle. Here's the USB cable that it plugs into, and yeah, I was happy to discover that there was a 5-volt charger for this rather than having to run the inverter all the time, because I have a little inverter that plugs into the cigarette lighter in the rear of the vehicle, but that's a lot of overhead just to charge a toothbrush, right? So I like going straight from my USB power. And it also means I can charge this from my battery pack if I need to without running its inverter. So my efficiency is a lot better for that. Oh yeah, and here we have a box full of winter clothes, and I wear these sweatpants at night when I'm sitting around in the van. They're more comfortable than blue jeans, but I've got, I guess, some of my other shirts and just a whole pile of clothes that I really honestly don't need. My extra blue jeans, all that stuff's in here. So that's more of my clothes storage. And the Grand Caravan has 2 glove boxes, you know. And a little charger here that I use for my tablet when I'm driving. This is only active when the car's moving though. But it's, you know, look here, Mom, unused storage. Isn't that great? What would I change about this van? I can't blame the van for anything. If I had bought a certain trim level, I would have gotten tinted windows, and I think I prefer that. And then I would also have these sliding door windows would be able to roll up and down. Mine are fixed, so my ventilation is limited to the rear fly windows and the front windows. So I think I'd rather have the ones with the middle that go down. In terms of the layout of the van, I simply have to improve my vision and my organizational skills myself. I've seen people do amazing things in minivans, and I'm a combination of unimaginative and lazy that has this at about the right level for me. I have thought about adding solar, partly just to follow the crowd. I mean, there's so much excitement about solar and so many neat products coming out. The main use for me would be to get rid of the butane stove and cook, and then I wouldn't have to worry about ventilation and all that for the stove for safety. The other use for it would be probably 12-volt warming of my body, like the motorcycle tourists. They have heated vests, heated socks. I think they do have heated glove liners. I wouldn't need those. But anyway, the socks and the vest, maybe a little heating pad for the bed. That would be nice in the cold evenings. Rather than heat the whole van, just heat me a little better, and I can sit and read or whatever quite comfortably. As it is, when I sit in my chair here, I also have this little folding stool. You've seen these at Walmart in the paint department. I had to look all over Walmart and realize they were in the paint department. But I can sit there and put my feet up. So I like to sit and read. Also, I think actually I would probably get a tea kettle, and then when I make my coffee, I wouldn't even have to mess with the stovetop. I would just use one of those inductive tea kettles that they sell, because I like coffee. So yeah, that would be some improvements, but I'm really happy with the choice of the minivan. I love the fuel economy. I love being able to park it anywhere a mid-sized car can park. I love being able to get into parking decks, and I've needed to, in fact, old parking decks that were quite low. I love the way it handles. I go through mountains and so on. In fact, this road here would have challenged, it was a challenge enough for the minivan, let's put it that way, so I wouldn't want to have anything less capable than that for a road like this. It's also very repairable, very well made. I expect it to last a couple 100,000 more miles. So I really like this minivan. We'll have to get something bigger to happily live the van life with my wife. I've only taken this when I go by myself, and it's just great for me. But with her along, I would want something, gosh, probably half again more square footage anyway. We'll see. She'll still stay married if I don't take her on trips, but I'm kind of in love with this van too. So I don't want to have two, and I'd have to get rid of this to get one for her and me, so that'll be a tough decision. Because then if I take a real long trip, and I've gone on 8,000 mile trips, if I go on one of those in a great huge van when she's not along with me, it'll feel a little wasteful. So we'll see how that all plays out.
Thank you, Ben, for sharing your adventure mobile with us. He's got a really nice rig here, very not super complicated, something that I think a lot of us could do, but you're super happy with it. It's exactly what you need, right?
It's great. It's great for long road trips. Very comfortable, you know.
And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions for Ben, and I'll make sure he sees them. And let me know what your favorite part of his build was. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.